What's up, it's Phil from Fit World Exposed, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about rack pulls below the knee. You heard that right, not above the kneecap. We're going to be talking about rack pulls below the kneecap because a lot of people lost sight of below the knee pulls, and in my opinion below the knee pulls are still very useful in aiding your deadlift and also aiding with your back development. So I'm going to talk about one mistake, one of the most common mistakes that you could do when pulling from below the kneecap, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll understand and you won't repeat the same mistake. Okay, so first things first, what you have to understand is that there's a certain way to pull below the knee and there's a certain way to pull above the kneecap. So when the weight is slightly above the kneecap, you could basically just dip your knees under and hitch the weight up, like so. See the bar is in front of me? I'm digging my knees under the bar and you're hitching it up. But when the bar is below the kneecap, you can't do that because the bar is too low. So, as you can see, it's below my kneecap. And technically, yes, I just cheated, but let's say if it was just a little bit lower. You can't do that. You can't dip the knee under because the bar is too low. So, people basically try to apply this whole rack pull above the knee, where you're kind of doing like a quarter squat to get the bar moving. They try to apply that on the rack pull below the knee too. And this is a huge mistake because they're basically trying to squat the weight up when they're doing the below the knee fashion. And it doesn't work like that because the mechanics of the lift are completely different. So the rack pull above the kneecap is basically a quarter squat done with holding super heavy weights. But the rack pull below the kneecap is more of a hip hinge. So you're using a lot more hamstrings. It's kind of like a Romanian deadlift on steroids. So you basically can't, the problem is when you try to squat the weight using a below the knee style, what ends up happening is your knees are gonna push the bar forward. Knees push the bar forward, you try to pull, you're gonna round more easily. So when pulling in a below the knee style, you basically wanna approach the bar, okay? Use like a narrow stance, narrow grip for this demonstration. You're basically gonna do somewhat of a hip hinge, so load up the hamstrings. Boom, you're gonna grab the bar with your hands in an even fashion. And instead of trying to squat the weight up, which is basically gonna push the bar forward, which is gonna make you cave more, you basically wanna just push the hips through. So you're basically doing like a cable pull through, like the boom, the hip hinge, at the same time as you're locking out the knees. You don't lock out you don't lock out your quads and then push the hips through. You want to do them basically at the same time while you're keeping long arms, while you're engaging the lats. I'll make a video on that in the future. And that's how you do a rack pull below the kneecap. So I'll just show you guys again. Approach the bar. Load up the hamstrings. Okay. All you're gonna do is push the hips through while flexing the quads. So. Okay, so there you guys have it. That's the rack pull below the kneecap. Hands down, in my opinion, one of the most common mistakes that people make. Just remember what I said before. There's a way to pull in the above the kneecap style, and there's a way to pull below the kneecap style. So the below the kneecap, it's more of like a hip hinge, and above the kneecap, it's somewhat more of like a quarter squat while holding on to heavy weights. So the mechanics are completely different. So just learn how to differentiate the two. Don't get them mixed up. They're two completely different movements. And hopefully now you understand how to do below the knee pulls a bit better. So let me know in the comment section below what you think. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.